Okay, everybody on Twitter is talking about this right now.
Ice cream's so good. Meow. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, strong woman. Yeah, strong woman.
But everybody seems to be ignoring the elephant in the room, which is that the US or even the world banking system is such a massive scam. Crypto T posted it in such a funny way. US banks have a 0% reserve requirement since 2020. If John deposits $100,000, his bank can loan all of it to Sarah. So now John has $100,000 in his bank and Sarah has $100,000 in hers. And what would happen if any of them wanted to get the money out? Well, that would be fine if only one of them wants to take it out, because then the others would just have ghost money. But if both of these guys decided to take it out, well, you notice that $100,000 was just created out of thin air in this banking system, we call it, because now they can't withdraw it as, well, they don't really have that money anymore. Okay, now there are a lot of nuances to all of this. It's actually a way broader story, but the idea I hope for you guys is pretty clear. That at the end of the day, and this is something I bring up so often, it's really a hard question about, let's say your XRP or whatever crypto brings you crazy amounts of money. Well, what exactly do you want to do with that? In the sense of, do you want to keep it in dollars? Is that your goal? Do you want to keep it in a bank account now? Because at the end of the day, one of the reasons why we are so excited about XRP and some of these other cryptos is because, well, their system isn't a full-on shkabam skadoodle. And so it supposedly has some more longevity and can last throughout the years. Again, one of the reasons we're so excited is because of the new financial system that, even though it won't exclude banks fully, is hopefully gonna change things a bit. As really, the more you start looking into it, I remember back in university, I was thinking about it in the exact same manner. The more you start realizing it's just a game of risk. Well, as long as people don't do something too crazy, it all works. But the moment there's some panic, the entire system collapses. Then again, about this banking system, as I said, guys, please understand, the story is more nuanced than I made it seem. And guys, if you enjoy these crypto videos, make sure you press that like button, by the way. I didn't say it at the start, but, there's still time. Make sure you press that button, because it helps out the channel and doesn't cost you anything. I wanted to say there's more nuance than I made it seem just now, but at the end of the day, the dollar is being printed out of thin air, and they can print as much as they want. Debt keeps increasing. You guys remember the ceiling was lifted, and yeah, they are definitely filling it up still. Okay, I seriously just had a 30-minute break here, thinking just about how big of a scam this is, guys. Really, the moment you start really thinking about it, sitting down and realizing how much you're being screwed, yeah, that moment hits a little bit like a truck. And it makes me, again, think. I've made so many videos talking to you guys about how to cash out all your crypto. For example, let's say you've got $1 billion. I know it's a lot, but let's say you've got $1 billion in crypto now. How do you cash that out? Because it's actually pretty difficult. Banks are not going to be too helpful, but also to sell that, it's also pretty significantly difficult if you don't know where to start. If you do know, it's not that hard. The point being there, you already know the moment you've got $1 billion US now, it's going to become worth less every single day. And honestly, it's on a curve towards the downside. One of the reasons and this I've had so many times, invest so much money into companies and things is not because I think all those would do well. No, it's more so on the idea of, I think potentially with these brands that you make and the education that you give yourself, the knowledge that you've gathered, potentially the reputation you build, that can hardly be taken away from you. Now, it can always kind of frame you, or I guess still indoctrinate you with false information. But usually these things kind of stay. Whereas your money they can take away, your dollars, your crypto they can't, which is again why I like it. Your house they can always take away. Your gold, if you know how to store it properly, they can't, but if you don't know where to store it, you just have it in your home, they can still take it away from you. You guys remember that Gold Retrievement Act? And vice versa. I keep just skimming about it. They could take almost anything away. And others, like the dollar, which in theory, you could keep your cash. It will devalue forever, meaning if you want to keep it for the next 10 years, it's going to be worth so much less afterwards. It's I keep thinking about what exactly is the wisest thing to put money into, and to really keep and to continue on with. It's just an inner dialogue I have very often. Anyway, for that reason, I think many people also turn to crypto because they think about it from the perspective of a lot of these will stay either stable or just increase gradually over time as utility increases, as people notice more and more the bank system is a scam and this newer financial system is going to take over. And Vincent, for example, put up a couple fun things. If XRP takes over USDT at the number 3 spot, the price would be $1.60. If it takes over Ethereum, the price would be $4.80. If it takes Bitcoin's place right now, it'd be $9.60. The global crypto market is at $1.2 trillion right now. Right now, the entire gold market cap is at 13 trillion. Lots of room to grow. And it makes me realize still, guys, we're so early in this industry that right now the entire market is just a tenth of what gold is. And I think soon enough, like a lot of these major banks, major investment firms have said, it'll most likely, crypto as a concept, become the biggest thing out there, or as big as actual, if not bigger than actual currencies. Because there's no borders, there's no maximum on things. There's, of course, a maximum on the coins with XRP and Bitcoin, etc. But there's no maximum on the value of them as they transcend borders, transcend time, as the value doesn't just keep decreasing like with the actual currencies that we've known for the last couple of centuries, really. So, yeah, I think a lot of banks and investment managers have said this, that logically speaking, over time, this is like an increasing asset that will transcend everything that we've seen before. And that's why it's so hard to fathom just how huge it's going to get. And now, before I move on, I will quickly say, guys, if you're still looking for a crypto exchange, check out BitGet. A link is down below. It's an exchange I use. And you can basically right now get yourself a ton of cool prizes, like a $100 gift card, $2,000 gift card, a MacBook, a summer kit, $1, $10. It just depends. But you can basically get this for just doing whatever it says right here, all these different tasks. You can get you different spins in this spinning wheel, pretty cool stuff. And over on Bybit, which is the exchange I use the most, you can get yourself an $1,125 XRP position for absolutely free. All you have to do is sign up with the link down below and go through these steps. But I'd say just read it for yourself. I use both of these exchanges all the time, and I personally recommend you guys to at least look into it. Little fun fact, by the way, XRP at some point in the past, if you considered all 100 billion XRP, right, and not just everything quote-unquote locked, people are saying that it overtook Bitcoin at a certain point. Now, I'm not 1,000% sure on that because, again, it depends on a couple of factors. Panos pointed out that XRP at this point was $2.38, giving it a market cap of 238 billion if you consider all XRP in existence, part of which is locked, but it still is out there because it's already been mined, so to speak. It's not like with Bitcoin where they don't exist yet, and I'm not even sure if the escrow for XRP was in here already. I believe it was, actually. But perhaps here, they even actually used the 21. No, they didn't. I want to say maybe they also used the entire Bitcoin total market cap, but they didn't. If we take the total XRP supply, which is 100 billion, times the price, then perhaps it actually overtook Bitcoin in the past somewhere. We're talking a good while ago. However, I'm a little bit confused as to this list because I don't remember in 2017 ATM coin or Solar coin being that high, but I guess it just depends on which list you're looking at, because in theory, a fun phenomenon can happen here where these are very small coins with potentially only 1% of the supply out there, but with a huge total supply. And even though they're valued at $5.20, if you use all the coins, this would be the value, for example, or they are at this price, but there's not a lot of volume where it's not really accredited. Basically, we don't really value it this high because of the lack of volume. So CoinMarketCap doesn't really rank you if your coin, for example, has 100 trillion supply and you've traded one coin for $1. It doesn't all of a sudden show up as the number one. It needs to have some proper liquidity, some proper volume, and that's a little side story. That's mostly what's happening with NFTs. It's just the insiders trading their own NFTs higher and higher and higher, so that hopefully a dumb sucker buys them. Because every time you're just paying the fee to OpenSea, but at the end of the day, that's 5% you keep on paying. But if you can take your own collection from 0.1 ETH to 10 ETH, and there's just one sucker that buys it, or just call it a couple suckers, you've made all those fees back, and now your collection and your valuation is worth a lot, which is the same thing for actual art, by the way, but that's a different discussion for a different day. It's just interesting to me. I don't want to go too deep into whether or not this is actually completely true because there's a couple hooks and credits, but the point is quite clear that XRP actually used to be so much highly valued, and it's interesting to me how people keep on saying XRP will never get back up there, XRP can never go back in the top 2 or top 3, when, again, if you look at history, it's worth so much more at that point, and I still think it can get there based on what we've seen in the past and how things have changed and how, well, they're the only crypto with proper clarity. People are not sinking that in. Again, many people are still on the hand of, no, we're liars, or no, it's not clear or whatever. Ben Justman says, the amount of times I've yelled, you're getting scammed, only to hear back, no, XRP won its lawsuit. Today is out of hand. Bitcoin only. Where again, the only thing I can say is, are you a freaking idiot sandwich or what? And I've also heard some people say, well, but actually Stellar is the real thing. Stellar is averaging 5 times more transactions per second than the XP Ledger. Is it safe to assume that Jet created a bigger ecosystem? Is it possible that XLM is the standard? What's going on here? Now, I have a lot to say about this, but the simple story is a lot of cryptos are actually pretty good. Hedera, so HBAR, has got tons of partnerships that are pretty awesome. XDC has been building roads that a lot of the other crypto components, other cryptocurrencies can't do. They're just doing a lot of the work a lot of others can't put in. XLM has gotten partnerships on a stablecoin level, for example, and official partnerships in that a lot of others couldn't do it. Even XRP didn't do it. That doesn't mean XLM has overtaken XRP. And at the end of the day, XRP is still the only one with clarity. And even though XLM and XRP follow the same path, they have the same creator, at least one of them, it's still not got the official clarity, officially. And even though Stellar has got a couple of really juiced up partnerships in their pipeline, they're still behind the curve of Ripple. They're still a little bit below, a significant portion, but a little bit below, where I guess let's just call it that they're moving like this. They're moving upwards, but Stellar's a lot lower and not as broad, not as big, which is also why the price is significantly lower, I believe. Anyway, throughout the day, I'm just reading more and more announcements of XRP usage increasing and cool things coming up. Actually, before this video ends, I need to add a couple of things. Man, Ari is on the freaking job to explain just how many different articles right now within the XRP community are completely fabricated, fake. An XRP Ripple article retracted. Yet another example of media and SNS influencers just publishing and reading articles without verifying or researching. Please verify. But I, as I said before, am also having a difficult time in finding out what's real if so many different websites and sources are posting it. But again, Ari is a freaking beast when it comes to making sure a lot of this misinformation gets completely destroyed out of the XRP community. Actually, later, I will talk a little bit more about some of the things which she stated just to get people on the right track for understanding everything about XRP and being able to make the most proper decision. But the most prominent piece here is just that all these different articles, as I stated before, are being shared by many people that I trust as well. And it can sometimes catch you off guard. Again, Digital Assets Daily, I believe, usually shares good stuff. But another good example is, right now, which parts of these are real, right? If everything is being shared and gets tens or hundreds of thousands of views, how do you verify some of these things except for just looking for the proper source? But then the source of the news articles cannot be trusted. So where do you really properly look? And that's why I said Ari has a special talent from able to find out all these different things directly from the source. But even now, even Mason's sharing here, Ripple is reportedly seeking approval of licenses in the UK and Ireland after XRP win against the SEC. I get skeptical nowadays of whether or not that's real. Wall Street Bulls just shared the National Bank of Australia is partnering with Ripple. Documenting Ripple shared the National Bank of Australia is joining forces with Ripple, harnessing XRP power. Here again, using XRP. And then Crypto Ari comes in to state that the National Bank of Australia has not partnered with Ripple to use XRP. Editor's note. We wrote here, picking up news from the web, the National Bank of Australia has partnered with Ripple to use XRP. We have removed that portion as we received an email from the NAB, the National Bank of Australia. David Gao also is not NAB's Chief Innovation Officer. Please take note, because apparently they have not partnered with Ripple. Yeah, we got debated here. Then again, the idea here is pretty clear. Many of them are actually already working in the background. In theory, it could also be so that they are, but they're not trying to let it slide. I don't think so, though. I can now redesign a big portion of my video to, also take it away, but I also thought it was real. I'm not going to lie to you. Then again, I'll be a man enough to say it right now and, make sure it's clarified instead of just going, oh my God, look at what Ripple partnered up with today. No, let's make it clear here. It was actually not the truth. They didn't partner up. They probably did with a lot of other companies, a lot of other banks, and the story still applies, but this one turned out to be another rabbit hole of fakes, huh? And it's getting pretty crazy, guys. A lot of what I'm doing right now is just trying to myth bust and keeping up with those because it's so insane. But yeah, just wanted to quickly make that clear in the midst here. Linkto plans to sell tokenized assets using XRP. Ripple shows active interest in tokenization. I always get scared of whether or not this is fake, but I did believe that Linkto, and you can see it in this interview right here, has been pretty progressive towards working with the XRP ledger. And the Australian bank here joining forces with Ripple, well, it's everywhere. It's plastered everywhere. Harnessing XRP's power to faster, cheaper cross-border transactions and enhance innovation. Again, I always try to kind of look through, see if anybody is telling us that it's fake news or anything like that. The only thing I've seen pointed out by 24 Hours Crypto is that this has just been something that's been going on for a good while. Quote, it's basically been going on since 2016. In the 2 months leading up to today's announcement, CIBC and NAB worked together to test Ripple blockchain tech, moving money from Canada to Australia and vice versa, becoming part of the small group of banks globally to have successfully completed a cross-border blockchain transfer. And to this, I'd like to state one very important thing. I'd say we're going to see more and more of this in the next couple of months, significantly more, where a lot of these partners have been trying out Ripple for a while, but they didn't want to go public with it. They didn't want to actually fully go for it, and they didn't want to I guess, fully admit to it until the clarity was there. And I think a lot of other partners are now going to start trying it out now that the clarity is there and Ripple has been greenlighted. So when you look at these banking announcements, just know that I believe we've only seen 1% of really what's been working on in the background. A lot of guys are testing Ripple. A lot of guys are already working with Ripple, but you're just not seeing it yet. Or from another perspective, even if we were to disconsider that, not consider that, then it just would make logical sense for them to start working on it now, to start getting these things in place and testing it. Because like Ripple said, like Broughti has said, let's say you have a way to just save tons of money and make your business a ton more, better, efficient, whatever. Why wouldn't you do it? I mean, there's proper regulatory clarity. Before you could have always made that argument. Well, what if it turns out to be a security? It can't be. So all it takes now is it's a matter of time before everyone in the world are going to start, in my opinion, getting on this bandwagon, but we're already seeing it happen. And that's why I keep telling you about this price idea. Many people, guys, they keep coming up and saying, well, but XRP can't get to that or this or that price. You guys have never seen a properly regulated crypto in the US because there's not one. Only XRP is the only one. And second of all, I mean, just taking a look at history, XRP was so much higher, percentage-wise, in every way, shape, or form. There's no reason why it couldn't get back there. There really isn't one. So whenever somebody tells me, no, XRP can't get back to number 1, based on what? I even think, and I've said this before, XRP has good potential to be the number 1 crypto in terms of volume out there, based solely on the fact that it's properly regulated, but also following what their purpose is. Bitcoin, at the end of the day, there's not that much logical sense in it transacting every second, all the time for anything. People have it as a store of value. The whole idea is for you to buy it nowadays and keep it and have it as an investment like with gold. XRP, the idea is to transfer value around the world all the time as quickly, reliable, fast, efficient as possible. So there should be way more ongoing with that. And people don't seem to realize this. Even though volume does not necessarily increase price, I'm just trying to say, people can't fathom just how many trillions of dollars could be flowing through this in due course, in time, because crypto is still so small. You're still so early. But let's just look back at this video in 10 years and realize how this space has gone by 100-fold. Potentially more than that. Right now we're at a freaking $1 trillion. It's nothing. I coughed it up for breakfast, But perhaps it's kept that way deliberately by the news that you're seeing or the manipulation bandwagon like with the SEC because they want to keep you in their legacy stupid-ass system. Again, there are still arguments that Ripple was being sued only to make sure that they are put on a little bit of a lower fire so they couldn't innovate as much because they wanted to develop their own technology. Can't fully go in with those theories, because everything is like, maybe. But I will say that I think we're on the right path. We're on the right curve. And I think personally, if I just keep on buying, I'll be very happy that I did that in a couple of years from now. Even now, I'm pretty happy, but you guys understand my drift. Anyway, if you enjoy these daily crypto videos, guys, make sure you put that notification bell on. And yeah, you don't want to miss the next video. So, I'll see you guys again in a couple of hours. Hopefully, I will see you.